Good morning, everyone. This is Kim Quady with KimPlaysWithPaper.com. It's Tuesday morning and time for my weekly Facebook Live to show you a fun project using Stampin' Up! Rubber stamps, ink and paper, and other fun items. Today we are going to be using and making a Thanksgiving card using Stampin' Up's Stamparatus and the Rooted in Nature stamp set. So I will get started. I will put my camera down to the desk so we can work and you can see what I'm working on. I said the Rooted in Nature as well as the Banner Year stamp set. What I really like out of the Banner Year stamp set, and I'll show you, is the Happy Thanksgiving sentiment. Good morning, Sue. Good to see you. Thanks for popping in. I'm going to show a fun mirror, M-I-R-R-O-R, have a hard time saying that, technique or reflective technique using Stampin' Up's Stamparatus. So just hang tight and I will switch the camera around and we'll get started stamping this morning. All right, so here's the card that I'm going to create using the Rooted in Nature stamp set as well as the Banner Year stamp set. As I mentioned, I just really love the Happy Thanksgiving sentiment in that set. And I also like the set because it covers a huge variety of our fall holidays, everything from Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving, fall, and the images to go along with it. I'm having a little trouble with my words this morning, so we'll have to work on that. So you'll notice that I used the big tree, and I'll show you how I got it to mirror on the bottom. So the paper, hello Andrea, thanks for joining me this morning. The paper I'm using is just Stampin' Up's Whisper White, cut at 5 1/4 by 4 inches. I'll have a piece for the front and a piece for the middle of the card, so when you send it, you can write a greeting for that. Good morning, Don. It's a little chilly here this morning, about 45, but by next Monday, we're supposed to be 85 again here in Arizona. And I also always have another extra piece of Whisper White paper in case I need it there. And then I have a basic black base. Good morning, Linda. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to bring in Stampin' Up! Stamparatus. If you're not familiar with the Stamparatus, it's Stampin' Up's stamp positioning tool, and it has all kinds of really awesome uses. It can help you get your sentiments straight on cards, especially if you say you're making Christmas cards and you need to do 30 cards in a hurry. You can position the Stamparatus so that everything will always stamp in the same place at the same time, and you can make sure that it's perfectly straight. Hey, Marty, thanks for joining me from Florida. Linda, thanks for sharing this. That's exciting. So you can check out some of my other videos on YouTube. I do have one using the Stamparatus showing the hinge step stamping technique, and that's a really fun technique to use too. So what I'm going to do is ink up my tree with black Memento ink, and I am using Stampin' Up's little acrylic mat, and I have it tucked right into the corner. So we won't be putting the cardstock on just yet. So I have that inked up pretty well, and I'm just going to press on to the acrylic mat just like that. And you can see I've stamped the image there. Then I'm going to slip my piece of Whisper White cardstock in the corner, and flip the stamp down. You'll notice I didn't re-ink it. You could re-ink it. We'll be able to use either side. So there's the image I stamped, and then the image that we stamped on the mat has also been transferred onto our Whisper White cardstock. So you could use either side, but I'm going to use this as my reflection on the bottom. So I'm going to turn it around and ink up my stamp again, because you'll see that's just a little bit lighter. So I'm inked that up, and I will pop that in the window just a little bit more. And what's really cool about this is, say that I didn't get enough ink on there, I could re-ink it, and that image would appear in exactly the same spot. That's one of the other great uses of this. You'll also notice that I've put my Rooted in Nature stamp set underneath the one plate. That's so I can get some good ink coverage on that plate as I'm stamping on that stamp. And you notice too that I didn't get the images, I didn't butt the trees up, but there's a reason for that. So once I take that out, I can use either this side of my paper or that side of my paper. I kind of like this one because that's a little bit lighter. So let's work with that. I will move the Stamparatus out of the way. If you have any questions about the Stamparatus, please let me know. I think it's a really awesome tool. Sometimes it's really helpful for people with if they have issues with their hands and it's hard stamping and holding on to the block. That helps them. I have a friend this weekend who said she always puts her stamps on the Stamparatus in order to make sure that everything gets in the right place and isn't crooked. So I'm using the Stampin' Up's Balmy Blue pad along with one of our foam rollers. What's nice about these is you can wash these out with water after you're finished. Good morning, Gina. Thanks for popping in. Wash these out and reuse them. And they're also, you can take them apart and pop them out, or use different... like I said, my words are not coming this morning, so thanks for your patience. So I'm going to add the water. Let me show you the card just once again. The water's kind of subtle. It's the reflection technique. Good morning, Sandy. So I'm going to put a little bit of, I'm just going to roll my roller in and apply the water here. You could make your water as dark or as light as you want it. I'm just going to go up to that tree right there. And I tried it. So there, we've added some water. Then I'm going to bring in our other colors. We're going to make the fall leaf colors. I'm using just the sponge daubers. I'm going to just tap, tap, tap in the ink and just apply ink. I'm looking for the fall tree effect. So using whatever colors you think of fall trees. The first one that I've brought in is the crushed curry. So I'll set that aside, and then I'm going to use pumpkin pie, and we'll add some of that to that as well. And again, just kind of putting it wherever you want, and you can blend it or tap, and every card you make is just going to look just a little bit different because of the way you put the ink on. Good morning, Chris. Thanks for joining me. We're making a fun fall card using Stampin' Up's Stamparatus and sponges. And all right, I'll put that pumpkin pie aside and bring in Mary Merlot. And here's my Mary Merlot ink. And I've got different sponge daubers for each one of these that I'm using so I don't transfer the ink. And again, as with the roller, I take the sponge and I just rinse it out after I'm done, let it dry, and then I can use it again. So I'm applying the Mary Merlot onto my tree. And then I'm going to add some on the bottom on the reflection as well. Because in the water, it's going to be somewhat muted. Okay. I might want to bring in just a little bit more of the crushed curry up here. Don't get too... Alrighty. So I'll quick close up my ink pads so they don't dry out. There's my crushed curry, my pumpkin pie, and the Mary Merlot. All right. So then I'm going to I'm going to do the sentiment. And again, it's the Happy Thanksgiving from Stampin' Up's Banner Your Stamp Set. This is the one sentiment that's really the next holiday coming up, and I want to get some cards in the mail for that. So I'm going to ink up with my black memento. Love these photopolymer because I'll be able to see through to the little scrap or the piece. So that piece measures actually 4 inches by 1/2. So just teeny weeny to see if we can get that on there. Get it on there straight. Press down evenly and firmly, giving that ink a chance to set in. Do any of you send Thanksgiving cards? All right, there's our Happy Thanksgiving. That's perfect. Now, if you'll notice, I layered the first card with the paper pumpkin, and I thought I would go with the black for this one and just to see what it looks like. I don't know if you're like me, once you get going on a card, it's like, I wonder what would happen if I did this. I wonder what would happen if I did that. So that's what we're going to try for that. I've got my basic black cardstock out. I fold that in half. Oh, good, Linda, you send Thanksgiving cards. What stamp set are you using for that? I'm going to, I have to use my other side. I'm going to put on some Stampin' Seal Plus. Oh, I'm glad to see that some of you do send Thanksgiving cards. When I first started stamping, I sent cards for every single holiday because I had all of the supplies and wanted to be sure that I used them. So it's kind of a habit. Love of Leaves. That's a really pretty one for sure. All right, try to get that right smack in the middle. While we're at it, let's put the white in the middle of the card so that you can write a message along with it. All right. Perfect. All right. Then to put the sentiment on, layer it onto my little black. So the black measures 4 by 5/8. Again, this video will be, or the Facebook Live will be available for replay again on my site. I'll transfer it to a YouTube video so that I'll put on my blog. And my blog is kimplayswithpaper.com. Hi, Joyce. Thanks for joining me. And I'll have some measurements and a picture of the finished card. I was struggling to find my good glue dots here, so I'm just going to put 4 glue dots on the back and put that right in the middle of that, and then use some more glue dots on the back of that, the whole piece. And you'll see that why I left that little bit of space in between the trees. So I didn't cut off the trunk too much. Alrighty. And the last little bit is to add some bling, and so I'll bring in the holiday rhinestones. I do like all these colors work well, and what I love about these is that they're self-adhesive, so you just pull them off with your fingernail, or take your pick tool or your scissor tip, and then just add some. Thank you, Gina. I love fall leaves and fall trees, and just thought that this was a good way to showcase that. So as you can see, I use the pumpkin pie under here and the black under there. I don't know which one I like better. So if I made a bunch of these, what do you think looks best? But just to recap, I use Stampin' Up's Stamparatus, the stamp positioning tool, to make the mirror or reflection technique, along with Stampin' Up's Rooted in Nature stamp set and the Banner Year stamp set, along with a bunch of sponges. So, like I said, you can visit my blog at kimplayswithpaper.com. And if you look at my blog, on the right-hand side, there's a place to subscribe to my newsletter. So if you're want to see what I've got going, I send newsletters a couple times a month with specials and free tutorials and free videos and that kind of thing. All right, it looks like black is winning the little contest. But isn't it fun how you can, no matter how you sponge it, each card is going to look a little bit different. And there are a lot of different stamps that work well for this reflective technique. In fact, maybe even this tree would work well, or you could use even some of these. So thanks for joining me this Tuesday morning. Pop back again next Tuesday morning at 8:30, where I will have another Facebook Live showing a card. I should thank my friend Ruth Grosscup. She gave me the idea for this video today, reminding me of a card I made several years ago with that old favorite stamp set of ours, Lovely as a Tree, and we did the reflective technique with that. So I just updated it with some new products. Thanks again, guys, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.